Q8086. After passing the final approach fix on a VOR approach, a weather report is received indicating the visibility is below prescribed minimums. In this situation, the pilot A. may continue the approach and land. If at the MDA, the actual weather conditions are at least equal to the minimums prescribed for the procedure. B. may continue the approach and land regardless of the visibility observed at the MDA. Prior to beginning the approach, the visibility was reported at or above minimums. C. should level off and continue to fly the approach to the MAP and execute the missed approach. The correct answer is A. In the event that a pilot has already started the final approach segment of a VOR, NDB, or similar approach procedure and has passed the final approach fix when he or she receives a weather report indicating below minimum conditions, he or she may continue the approach and, if upon reaching the MDA, finds the weather at least equal to the prescribed minimums, may land. Q8087. An alternate for a destination airport, circling not authorized, is not required if, for at least 1 hour before and after the ETA, the required visibility exists and the forecast ceiling is at least A. 1,500 feet above the lowest published minimum or 2,000 feet above the airport elevation, whichever is higher. B. 1,500 feet above the lowest MDA or 2,000 feet above the runway touchdown zone elevation, whichever is higher. C. 1,000 feet above the lowest published minimum or 1,500 feet above the airport elevation, whichever is higher. The correct answer is A. The reason is that when determining the requirements for an alternate airport, where circling is not authorized, the visibility and forecast ceiling are crucial factors to ensure safe operations in case the aircraft cannot proceed with the planned approach and landing at the destination airport. In the given scenario, the condition states that an alternate airport is not required if, for at least 1 hour before and after the estimated time of arrival, ETA, the required visibility exists and the forecast ceiling is at least 1,500 feet above the lowest published minimum or 2,000 feet above the airport elevation, whichever is higher. The purpose of having specific visibility and ceiling requirements is to ensure that there is adequate visual reference and sufficient clearance from obstacles during the approach and landing phase at the alternate airport. By specifying the minimum ceiling requirements, it ensures that there is a reasonable margin of safety above the ground or obstacles in the vicinity of the airport. The value of 1,500 feet above the lowest published minimum or 2,000 feet above the airport elevation, whichever is higher, provides a buffer to account for varying terrain elevations and potential obstructions. It ensures that the forecast ceiling is sufficiently above any potential hazards, allowing for a safe approach and landing at the alternate airport. Therefore, based on safety considerations and the need for adequate visual reference and obstacle clearance, the requirement for the forecast ceiling to be at least 1,500 feet above the lowest published minimum or 2,000 feet above the airport elevation, whichever is higher, is established. This ensures that suitable conditions exist for a safe alternate airport option. Q8090. At a military airport, a pilot may not take off under IFR unless the reported weather conditions indicate that the A. visibility is at least 1 mile. B. ceiling is at least 500 feet and the visibility is 1 mile or more. C. airport has landing minimums. The correct answer is A. The applicable instrument approach procedures and weather minimums set forth by the body having jurisdiction over that airport must be followed by every pilot performing an IFR takeoff, approach, or landing at a military or foreign airport. Furthermore, no pilot is permitted to take off from that airport when visibility is less than 1 mile. Q8091. A pilot may not take off under IFR at a foreign airport unless the visibility is A. half a mile or more above landing minimums. B. 1 mile or more and the ceiling is 500 feet or more. C. at least 1 mile. The correct answer is C. The applicable instrument approach procedures and weather minimums set forth by the body having jurisdiction over that airport must be followed by every pilot performing an IFR takeoff, approach, or landing at a military or foreign airport. Additionally, when visibility is less than 1 mile, no pilot is permitted to take off from that airport. 8092. An instrument approach procedure to an airport may not be initiated unless the latest weather report issued by an authorized weather reporting facility indicates that weather conditions A. are at or above the circling minimums for the runway the pilot intends to use. B. are at or above the authorized IFR landing minimums for that procedure. C. exceed the straight-in minimums for all non-precision approaches. The correct answer is B. The reason is that when initiating an instrument approach procedure to an airport, it is essential to have weather conditions that meet or exceed the authorized IFR, instrument flight rules, landing minimums for that specific procedure. The purpose of having authorized IFR landing minimums is to ensure that there is sufficient visibility and ceiling for a safe approach and landing. These minimums are established based on factors such as obstacle clearance, aircraft performance, and available navigational aids. By requiring the latest weather report from an authorized weather reporting facility to indicate weather conditions at or above the authorized IFR landing minimums, it ensures that the pilot has the necessary visibility and ceiling to conduct a safe instrument approach. This is crucial for maintaining adequate situational awareness, obstacle avoidance, and aircraft control during the approach and landing phase. Choosing an approach procedure with landing minimums that exceed the reported weather conditions would introduce unnecessary risks and could compromise the safety of the operation. Therefore, it is a requirement to have weather conditions at or above the authorized IFR landing minimums before initiating an instrument approach procedure to ensure a safe and controlled descent and landing.